Okay. Cool. So, for this guy here, first step, switch the x and y, right? Because that's basically y there. So switch the x and y. Now you see why this is difficult. How many y's are there? Two. There aren't really. We'll see why. What's the definite first step I have to do?
Bring the y up. Bring y plus 5 up.
Yeah, that y plus 5 is down. That's no good. I want to solve for y. Get that thing out. So multiply by y plus 5. So you get
yx plus 5x, y minus 2.
and now we get that thing we were talking about the other day. If there's ever more than one variable that you're trying to solve for, what do you do with it? What do you always
Get them
do?
all on the same side.
You always get this stuff, the variable stuff on one side and the other stuff on the other side, right? Always. It used to be the other stuff was numbers. Get the x on one side and the numbers on the other side. Remember that? So now we can extend that. Get the variable you want on all of those on one side. Get the other stuff that you don't want on the other side. Right? That's the generalization. So subtract the y, subtract the 5x.
Pull the y out.
And now you see why there really isn't two y's. There's one y that somebody distributed.
Yeah.
So take a y back out.
X minus 1.
Beautiful.
Divide x minus 1.
Divide by x minus 1, you're done. That's going to be the inverse. Alright, so a major hint there. You didn't pick up on that. Not the same question, but that type of thing I could very well ask. I could be real dorky, just not put it on there. But you probably shouldn't be ready for that. Because that kind of thing comes up in pre-calc a few times. So even if you're not going there, you still have to do it on my final. Yeah.
So what if the base of the log is A and the other one is like negative log B, the base?
Oh yeah, good. There was one, before I forget, I'm glad you're saying, there was one version of the thing, I didn't really mean to do this, but it was like log A and log
B. That's what I.
So if you had something like this, all you can do is bring the exponents up and then stop. Because the logs don't have the same base. You can't go further. I didn't take points off. I shouldn't have. For
No, he wrote it differently than what you're saying.
I did the top and bottom.
So if you try to go a step further than you really should have, I tried to be nice about it because that was my mistake.
-5.
But you should have been able to do the first step, which is bring that coefficient up, right? I didn't mean to make it like a trick question with different bases. That was my mistake. So I graded it nice, but not very many people got to the point where I could grade it nice. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but he still needs
Yeah, you should still be able to do the first step. And to be honest, you should still be able to do the next ones. Like me giving you two different roots. They're not the same roots, so you can't put them together, right?
Simplify as much
So that's
as
it.
possible.
Bring the coefficients up. Stop. Yep. I'm evil. How much did I take off? Okay then. That's nice. That's my consideration. Be nice.
B squared equals W.
Because you didn't get that far. Yeah.
B squared equals W. Put into like logarithmic form or exponential.
1 second. Who else needs their stuff back? Mooney? Anybody else need their stuff back? Paris? Okay. So if I have phi to the f equals L, which is a well-known fact, how do I write that in logarithmic form? Yeah. Log, what's the base? 5 is the base. What's the power?
L.
The power is F, obviously, right? So the log is the power, so L's got to go here. So the output becomes the input becomes the output, and the base is the base. How do you check it? 5 to the F equals L? Yes. So that's always the harder way to go. It's easier to go here. 5FL, bam. So whenever you have to write it in logarithmic form, just check it real quick. Make sure it does work back to what it's supposed to be. Bam, bam. That's 5.
Really cold last week. 6 weeks.
That's the point of today. So, yes.
So like,
Can you give me that equation again? Did I get it?
What's that?
I'll talk to you after class.
Yes.
In case anybody's wondering, I'm going to do a study session after class in the Math 2 area. So I'm going to get a room. I've already got a few people that are coming. We'll go over the practice test. So
Sweet.
just letting y'all know. Yeah.
They don't have food in there, do they?
No.
Smuggle.
I did smuggle drinks up there.
Good. I mean, I didn't hear that.
You're going to hand out the answer keys?
Hey, Dean.
Are we going to get the answer keys?
Huh? I can give it to you right now.
Awesome.
Because quite a few of you guys have done a lot of this. Okay, so, little caveat. I found an old answer key from a while back, and then I realized a few of them have been changed. So I have indicated those on here. So we'll go over them one by one. Okay.
There used to be so many more people in this row.
There used to be so many people in this room. At one point I was at 57 students. What are you at now? Right now I'm at 46, 45.
Still pretty big.
Well, it's 45 enrolled. I don't need 45 people here right now.
I don't think you've had 45 people in here for a while.
Thanks. Well, it's their decision, right? It's college.
Make all your corrections.
Alright guys, so notice 1C, for example. It's got a little circle on it because I changed it somewhere in time. You with me?
Yeah.
1C is different on the practice final, so we can do that one on the board if you want to. Same thing with, what's another one? No. 3B,
Yeah.
3F, 4C. Anything that's circled there was changed on the newer version of the practice file you guys got. And then I just redid the last page because it was very different. Number 7, I didn't feel like doing that, so if you want to see that, we can do that on the board today. See anything else freaky on there? I can't remember.
I've got a question on F. 1F.
1F?
If you were to pull out a W out of all those, would it be okay as well?
No. Let me say this real quick. If I say simplify, or if I say carry out the indicated operations, factoring is the exact opposite of what I'm asking for. Factoring is undoing multiplication. When I say simplify, I'm saying do all the operations. You with me? So like 1F. I'm not picking on Chris, but you got a good point. You can take a W out. But that's the exact opposite of what I'm asking you to do. I don't want you to factor. I want you to simplify. And you stop there because there are no like terms. If you do go one more step and take a W out, I probably wouldn't take any points off. But still, it's not what I'm asking for. Right? It's the opposite of what I'm asking for. So I love it when I say foil this. They foil it, and then they factor it, and then they circle the factor. I'm like, You just undid what you did. Wait a minute. There's nothing wrong with checking your work, but circle the part that's FOIL out. Okay, maybe.
What problem?
In general? Yeah. One F specifically. Don't take a W out, because that's the opposite of simplification. Okay. It's wide open to whatever you guys want to talk about.
Could we do the C? Since you changed it?
Yes, good. All right. So I'm going to do C the long way, and then I'm going to point out what somebody else noticed about that problem that I did on purpose. That's why I changed it. So what's the new version now? I think I gave all my...
2x minus 3 is 4x squared plus 6x plus 1.
Cool. So have you guys tried this problem yet?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, that's right. You can just say, even if it's not true.
No, I didn't read it.
So you guys help me out.
8x cubed. 12x squared. 18x. Negative 12x squared. Negative 18x. Negative 27.
So the reason I gave you this problem was so that you could actually work through and see this guy doing his job. This guy killed the extra stuff I didn't want. You can see it happening. Die. So I just get, because what form is this in? Somebody noticed what form this is in. This is a factored cubes, right? 1, 2x, the other 2 2x's is 4x squared. 1, 3, the other 2 3's is 9. Multiply, different side, bam! It's cube. So when you work this out, you see it doing what it's supposed to do. Canceling all that middle stuff. So somebody skipped this and just said, that's cubes, dude. Just put that down there.
Yeah.
A little tear comes to my eye, because the whole point is, the more you know, the less you should have to do. That's my mantra. Right?
Put negatives on it.
Say it.
Put negatives.
I put negatives?
If you're not showing the word.
What do you mean? No, if you say something, say, this is just cubes. But if you just put this, you're right. I don't know where the hell it came from. But say, oh, this is just cubes. Bam. I love it. As a teacher, I can't see in your brain. That would help me out. But
So that's
probably
all you
scare
can
me.
do, huh?
Huh?
That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, just making sure.
If you factor this, it's kind of silly because it started factored.
Yeah.
So this is simplify. This says multiply. You simplify it by doing it. Stop. Don't refactor it. That's going backwards. Adina, did you have?
Yeah, I was from homework, wasn't in the test. I just wanted to say before we go into the test,
Yes.
from section 13.8,
15
15.
point
Yeah, from 13.8.
13.8.
Homework problem?
Number 15. Oh, the molding plastics one. I thought did we? Well, let's see.
That was a different version, but we did the test.
Bless you. So, pretty sure we did this. And the idea was this. With this was I was going to fold it by some amount, so that if I look at it straight on, it'll look like that, right?
We have 4x.
No. So if I want to maximize the volume, so let me make this three-dimensional, or attempt to. That's not too bad for me. Screw it. That's not bad.
Yeah.
If you squint. How long is this?
14 inches.
Yeah, it's still 14 inches, right? How long is this, the height here? X. And how long is this? It's not 8. 8 minus 2 x's. So what's the volume?
Minus 6.
Yeah, 14 times x times 8 minus 2x. And then you multiply, you get your parabola, you do your negative b over 2a thing. So in effect, this is what they told us And I used it in what they asked us, which was maximize volume, right? You can almost always boil it down to they tell me something, and I want to use that in what they ask me. I like that reaction. Mildly interesting. Thank you. Those are freaky ones. Once you see it, though, this kind of thing happens all the time. Where you subtract the x out. Yeah, that kind of problem shows up in a lot of different ways. You'll see that again in calculus if you take that eventually. Pre-calculus.
I have a question. Let's say if it was made like a box, if I had a column, so that would be 3x? Like
No.
3x? How would that?
What do you mean? I don't know.
Let's say here it has 3, you know how it, I don't know how to explain, yeah, top 2, like.
You have a top.
Yeah, the same from the same paper.
So it's like you fold it 3 times so that you can fold it and fold it on top of itself.
8 minus 3x.
Ooh, I like that problem. You got to be careful what you feed to my imagination. Yeah, if you fold this, well, I don't want to get into that because that's not what the problem is. But you just would redraw this picture and they'd have to tell you that they'd want this to be the same. Obviously, that has to be the same size as that. But yeah, that wouldn't be too bad actually.
I'm just trying to get the concept.
So what you do is you take the same 8 by 14 and you have to cut it 3 times, which I haven't given myself enough room for that, but I will. So those two would be, let me make sure I'm thinking about this right. So you need an extra bit. That would be interesting. It's not. I have to think about how to set that up. I'm not going to waste time up here trying to make a problem that doesn't even exist. You'd have to be careful. The book would have to give you more information about exactly how they were folding this based on X. Can you guys imagine? I mean, what I'd have to do is I'd have to add like another bit so that could be the top.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to sit here and try to make a problem that actually makes sense out of nowhere. I'd rather focus on something we actually are going to have. Yeah?
3B.
Oh yeah, so that was changed. What is that now?
X squared.
Yep.
Minus 4x plus 1 equals 2x plus 10.
I like it. So the first step, of course, is
Get everything turns out equals.
and one reason why I did this is so that you start to see stuff and you start to make generalizations. So that looks almost like something I could factor, and some people would go ahead and factor it, even though that's not factorable. 3 and 3 make 6, that's awesome. But to make -9, they have to be different signs, and 3 and -3 don't make -6. It's too damn bad. You cannot factor, so you got to use quadratic. Good.
So when you say solve, we can use quadratic.
Oh, hell yeah. That's what quadratic was built to do. Quadratic was built to solve a quadratic equals 0. It's exactly what the quadratic formula does.
Or complete the square.
Yeah, you can complete the square if you want to. It actually kind of is really heartwarming to me that so many of you guys are using complete the square so much. Because most of the time people just go right to quadratic formula without a thought. But complete the square actually, in some cases, it's pretty quick. Yeah, so that's awesome. You can complete the square.
Can you do that complete the square real quick?
So how would I solve this complete the square?
Add 9 on.
Yeah, get the 9 out of the way. What has to go there now? Good. Plus 9. Let's see if you work here. So now this is
X minus 3.
some of you guys remember, the minute you bring the square root in, you got to give me both roots. If the square root is already sitting there, they've already picked picked the positive root for us. It's not plus or minus. They picked the plus. If we bring it in, we got to say, oh, they both could happen. Right? So here I'll do this side.
3 plus or minus.
No, careful.
3 rad 2.
There you go. Plus or minus 3 rad 2. That 3 can't jump over here and suddenly become addition. It's multiplying. 9 times 2. So when it comes out, it should still be square root of 9 times square root of 2. And then add 3. And you're done. So that wasn't that bad, right? I would argue that it actually is better than quadratic sometimes, especially when the numbers are, this nice. Right. Since there's a lull, I want to show you guys something. A little PSA announcement, which is too late for this semester, but hopefully it'll help some of you guys out in the future.
So when you do that, do you even need to bother checking
Say
the
again?
answers? Do you need to check the answers? Or no?
You don't ever need to if I don't ask to, but you still could. Would you want to is a really good question. What you could do is you could put this in the calculator, 3 plus 3 rad 2, store it in X, and then write this, like we did the other day. You guys remember that? I can show you that again if you want.
Because I think I did that. And one of them didn't come out.
Well, I'm not going to show it to you anytime soon, but I can at least show you this, because the computer takes roughly 3 weeks to work. All right. Now, can somebody grab one of the lights back there or turn one off? Anybody anywhere near the lights? I don't have any control up here.
Where do we put in the corrections?
Oh, they're way in the corner there.
How do you still?
Turn that one back on. Yeah, there you go. Cool. All right.
Where did I put the
Thanks,
corrections?
man. Huh?
Where did I put the
Right
corrections?
there. Okay. All right. So, I didn't do this for my math lab people, but this is for the people that did homework out of the textbook. All those little diamonds are people. So this person did 10 homework assignments and currently has a 60 average. Do you see the trend? I've put the trend line in. This is the line. This is the logarithmic line that best fits all that data. Kind of with me? So there's one use of a logarithm is to fit data that kind of follows a logarithmic path. It looks like a logarithm, right? The logarithm goes like that. Kind of levels off way over here. That's exactly what's happening. But you can see, this trend every damn semester I've taught, and I've taught since 1998. Oh shit! You're old. When I was 10. Yeah. Every semester I can make something exactly like this. And real quick, this number here, the closer this number is to 1, the stronger the connection is. The further it is from 1, the dots get further away from the line, so the line would mean less and less. That's really getting close to 1. Actually, it just has to be over 0.505 to mean it's a really good fit. I don't know if you guys are with me at all, but you don't have to learn statistics all of a sudden. So that's one thing. And the takeaway here is doing homework sort of helps you out, right? It's amazing. And then I just did it again using exponential function, or actually this is a power function, my bad. Just to show you actually get almost the same look.
Is this class?
So what?
Is this
This is this class.
Yeah, so I see myself.
Yeah, you might see yourself. You see some, in statistics we have outliers. So these guys are sort of outliers because they didn't do much homework, but they got like almost a 90 in the class, right? And there are people like that. This would be the really, if I had somebody here, I'd feel really bad for them. Because that would mean they did a lot of homework and, right? But I don't have anybody there. It's awesome. Anyway, just want to show that real quick. I did it for myself, but I figured I'd share it with you.
This is just people who turn in homework, right? My math is not on there.
Yeah, my math lab's not on there.
You really don't care about your math.
Oh, that's not my math.
The first one? The first 70?
No, I don't know if you understand that I doing this actually was more time than I had, so I'm just happy I actually made this.
Right there, that
First one.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm on the top part.
Some of you guys might be able to find yourself. One way, when they say find yourself, they actually don't mean it. Yeah, I know. It is. I didn't even bum anybody out. Well, yeah, I see that. So, real quick, I want to show you how you can check the answer here. Can you imagine checking this answer by hand? You don't want to. I don't blame you. So what I'll do, let's check one answer. Let's check 3 plus 3. Do what?
2 minus.
Okay, 3 minus 3 square root of 2, which is approximately this. You with me? Now, I don't want to keep writing that big-ass number. So what I do is I store it. Well, let me show people at home what's happening. Store it
No, we talked about that.
in X. Enter.
Set up your table.
So then you say, now you can just write the equation. You're going to write x squared
Start with 0,
minus 4x
0, 1, 0. Or 0,
plus 1.
1,
So that's that number. So when I type in 2x plus 10, it better be the same damn number.
negative. And what goes in for x is all.
All right, thank God. So that's checking the equation. You're plugging that value in. Just make sure that those are equal. But that is, like Jesse just said, so cool. So you can do the same thing with 3 plus 3 rad 2. Just do the same thing. Cool. Anyway, so that's a little aside. Where do you guys want to go now? Home. And you can do that anytime you want to. This is college.
We get a calculator tomorrow, right?
What's that?
We get to use our calculator tomorrow. Okay.
Yes. There will be a part 1, and there will be a part 2 to the final. There will be a part 1 and a part 2. That doesn't mean there's more questions. That just means one part you can use a calculator, and the other part you can't. Your reaction is telling me that was the right way to go.
I failed that other
Right.
part.
Yeah.
Like, we can't use it to have our answers, but can we use it to check our work? Or no?
On the part that you're allowed to use calculators, yes. Yeah. The other one, it's not going to be, obviously the one without a calculator is going to be shorter. It's just going to be the ones that I've shown you some shortcuts. There's no real work to show, so I've got to do it that way. There's no other way I can be sure that it's actually coming from you and not from it, right? It.
So you're talking a lot of logs.
Some logs. Yep.
So pretty much
Some other stuff. Yep.
We do 3, yeah?
Yep. Okay. Oh yeah, so that's another one I changed. Can we bring the... Thanks, Dave. So can somebody read that new one off to me? What is it now, 3F?
Absolute value.
Oh, I didn't change it by much. Okay.
No, you only changed the 9, minus 4.
Oh! I see why you did that. Okay. See 3I?
Where's that?
Yeah.
3I is 3 to the x plus 1 minus 2 equals 9. So the point I'm trying to make is no matter where your x plus 1 is stuck, here it's stuck inside an absolute value. Here it's stuck in the power of a 3. Here it's stuck inside of a square root. no matter what the hell your first step is, isolate. Good. Isolate that term where your variable expression is stuck. Because then you can unstick it by applying inverse function, or in the case of an absolute value, once I do this, what can I write? That can do by two cases. Cool. So x plus 1 equals 11 or negative 11. Good. The mistake everybody makes, or a lot of people make, is they don't add 2 first. So you change, you make this plus 9 and minus 9. Well, how did this part escape that consideration? No, you bring it over so it can't escape.
Oh, that's right, 4.
Cool. So then you get x equals 10 or x equals negative 12. So that's what you should get for 3f. Remember, I want to say this again because it takes about 3 times. I only said it once. The answer key is different in a few places. They're circled, the ones that are different. So it's a good idea to ask me to do those. Yeah, you can check it. 10 plus 1 is 11, minus 2 is 9. Negative 12 plus 1 is negative 11. Absolute value is 11 minus 2 is 9. Cool. Yes, sir.
So on 3e, and you wanting the midpoint on these, or
3e?
yes, 3e.
What do you mean the midpoint?
I don't know. I don't know.
I think you might be saying the right thing. I want to know where they intersect.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
But you don't have to do it graphically. You could. I don't say which way to do it, but I would rather do it algebraically. Substitution or elimination. Yes, ma'am. 7. Seven says if two numbers add to 14. How do I write that? Two numbers add to 14.
X plus y equals 14.
That's what I tell you. What's the largest product of one of the numbers and twice the other one? So that product is one of them, x, times twice the other one. So that's the product is one of the numbers times twice the other one. So I'm trying to maximize this. So this is what I asked you. So how do I proceed from there? Use what I tell you in what I ask you. If you go into pre-calculus, especially if you take me obviously, but whoever the hell you take, you're going to hit problems almost exactly like this. Just a little bit more in depth. But same idea. They're going to tell you something. They're going to ask you something. Use what they tell you in what they ask you. You're going to get a quadratic, right? It's going to be a parabola. It's going to have a maximum because it's going to open down. All that kind of stuff. Once you get a calculus, it doesn't have to be a parabola. It can be any damn curvy-ass thing, and I can figure out whatever maximums or minimums I want. Crazy. Yeah. Oh, 11a. So how do I do this? In general, we don't like the bottom being irrational. You could rationalize the numerator, but if I don't say, it's understood to be the denominator. That's the part that it's convention to not have an irrational part. No, I don't need a 4. You can either look at it one of two ways. I have 1 4, so I would need 2 more 4s. Well, it's the better way to look at it. 4 is 2 times 2. I need how many more 2s? 1 more. How many more A's? 2 more. Why are you saying this? Because it's a cube root. There's 3 things in it. Right? So don't oversimplify. What's the reason if I have a square root that I multiply by itself? Because it needs 2 of it, so I just give it itself again. I mean, but don't say, oh, any root works that way. No, it's a square root needs 2 things. Cube root needs 3. So don't just multiply by it. It's not going to work for a cube root. Cube root needs 3 of everything, so it needs 2 more a's and 1 more 2. So that's why I call this completing the root. You give it what the root needs.
What's a bad 3 up there in your cube area? Is that
Yeah.
what it is?
Poor little 3 dude. It's basically just as bad as it was, but it's bad. So if it was a 5th root, you make sure that you have 5 of everything in there. So you just give it whatever it needs until it has that many. Yeah.
The bottom becomes 2A.
Oh, your answer key's wrong.
Where are we at? Oh, give me 1 second.
I was looking at it going, that doesn't work.
Where did I put it? There.
What do I put fractions in there?
Oh, right here. Thanks.
Supposed to be 10 squared.
Oh, yeah. Supposed to be 2 a's in there, yeah.
Yep. 0 equals 2x.
So the answer in 11a should be cube root of 10a squared over 2a. That should be a squared. I'm the first person to admit that I make mistakes. We're all humans. I'm the only one here that gets to take one.
Did you already do 4C?
No. Yeah, the only thing I did on 4C was I added some extra variables, right?
Yeah.
4C's the same numbers, I just put,
Whiskey 6.
oh yeah, that's right. I added some extra W's. Is that it?
Yeah.
Yep, okay. So if you have to factor this, how do I know this is not in the right form? What's supposed to be here? That's 6. This should be 3. Half is 6, right? So at that level, you might say it's prime, but it's not prime. Because what do you always try first?
Great.
GCF. So they all have 2 W's. Yeah. So W squared. So now it's.
W2.
So now I know this is factorable because that is half of that. You have the U sub. W4 is. And then 28 to make 11.
7 and 4.
7 and 4, and they have to be
Negative.
minus.
Plus 2 minus 2.
Cool. Now, technically, you could even go further on this, to be honest. Who knows what that would be if you go further. Where'd 2 come from? The what of 4? Square root of 4. So what would have to go here?
Plus.
Square root of 7. Square root of 7. But I'm not going to know. If I would be very specific and say use irrational numbers or use complex numbers if I wanted you to bring I into it. So if you stop here, you're fine.
Because, oh wait, no, never mind. Usually you want us to find W, right? And that's how you...
There's no equals, yeah. Okay. So I really want to make sure you guys understand what I just did. This is easy because 9 square root is 3. But if I have x squared minus 10, it actually is just as easy. Square root of x squared is x, and x square root of 10 is square root of 10, square root of 10. Yay. Right.
Is that why you put on the answer?
If I say factor this using irrational numbers, then for this problem you would have to go one more step. So you know you're done factoring. If I say use irrational numbers and complex numbers, you know you're done when all your pieces have only one W in it. This guy's like W times W, so he's cool. Right. I know I'm not done here because how many W's I got in it?
2.
2. I got to be able to break that up into its own parts. All right. freak out about that. I'm probably not going to do that to you, so don't freak out. Yep.
The last question. 11E.
Oh yeah, so that one, and the way it printed out, I couldn't even tell if you could see that it's I to the negative 23.
Yeah.
Good. So the first thing to do there, now, for once and for all, the shortcut is just dividing that by 4, but the longer cut is to break it up. What does 4 go into? Not 23, but 20. So it'd be I-20 times I-3, the extra 3, right? Every fourth power, I-4, I-8, I-12, I did a lot, it's going to go back to 1. That's why I do that. If I can pull off the fact that the multiples of 4, that's 1. And what's I cubed? Negative I. Now why can you not stop there? You can't have a complex number in the bottom. So you got to multiply by I. You can multiply by its conjugate, right? So you get I over negative I squared. And negative 1 is 1, so the answer is I. So now if anybody asks you what's I to the negative 23, tell them it is I. It is I.
This is like back.
What's that?
Another question, but it's like way back in the
Okay. Kate. In where, sir?
back in quiz 2.
Quiz 2, okay.
It's a cubed minus b cubed over 6a squared minus 6ab squared. Divided by
Hold on. So a cubed minus b cubed.
over 6a squared minus 6ab squared or 6ab divided by a squared plus ab plus b squared over 3a.
Now how would you do this problem?
Factor first.
Factor. In the meantime, I can also multiply by the reciprocal, right? How do you factor the top here?
A minus B. A squared plus AB.
Right? Those are cubes. Little do big do.
Switch and multiply, they kill each other. Pull the 6 out. Actually, 6A out. A minus B.
Times 3a over a squared plus ab plus b squared. That dies. That dies. That dies.
Basically, it becomes 1.
That goes in 1 and 2. Yeah. So the only step left alive is
1.
1 over 2. Yeah. It's from a while back on a quiz from earlier. Yeah.
Amanda, can I take one of these too?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Under 7?
Which one? 7A or 7B?
What do you mean?
You got 2 7s on this. One's a matrix, one's the
Oh, yeah.
problem.
You mean the matrix one? Okay. All right, everybody, buckle up. Here we go. Number 7, matrix. So I want to say this. I don't know if you guys have noticed this. A lot of you guys, very, very many of you actually know the process. The place you mess up the most is not writing this correctly. You mess up at the very beginning. Triple check this bad boy. Make sure the negatives are where they're supposed to be. Make sure it's positive where it's supposed to be. You with me? You put one little negative somewhere it shouldn't be, the whole thing's just dead. You're solving an entirely different set of equations. Right? All right, so what's kind of nice about this one? Nah. What's nice about here? I got a -1, right? So I can multiply this by 3 and kill that. I can multiply this by 5 and kill that. Right?
Yes.
So let me see. So I can move it to the first row. Now if I multiply it by 3, so this is 3 row 2 plus row 1. Put it in row 2 here. So this would be -3, -6, 6, 24. So the -3 and 3 is 0. -6 minus 1. 6 minus 5. 24 minus 7. And then, like you said, I multiply row 2 by 5. And add it here. So -5 and 5 is 0. -2 and -10.
-12.
10 and -1. 40 and 11. All right. Now what can I do?
That's right. If you switch the second and the third, you could kill the second and the first with a 1.
Multiply the first row with the row.
Yeah, multiply first row by
Alright, yeah.
6.
So you could, remember the first little adjustment you can make, because I said do this column and then that column, and you could just start with this column first.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I think this is what you're pointing out. If not, then I just helped you out. That's a 1, so I can kill the 2 and the 9 with it,
Yeah.
right? Because this column is gross. So if I take, multiply row 2 by -2 and add it to row 1, so this will be 0, 0, 14, -2, -34. Exciting. So I get -1, 14 minus 2, -2 plus 2, 0, -34 plus 8.
26.
Okay. And then I multiply row 2 by
-9.
just using that 1 to kill everything around it. Right? So then I'll get 63, -9, and 9 times 17, 161? No. No, Jeff. What's 9 times 17?
No,
153. Thank you. And it should be negative. And this, of course, is still 0. So 0 and 0 is 0. 63 minus 12. -9, 9 is 0. That's the whole point. And -153 plus 51. -102. Now, what do you notice really nice about that last row? Divide by 51. Yeah. And then I'll get a 1 here that can kill these two things. You see that? Yeah. So, let me not do this by rewriting everything. So divide by 51. Is that cool? And then I can take this and multiply by 7.
And then negative 12.
Multiply by negative 12.
Yeah.
You want to keep going? So this would be 7, 0, 0, negative 4, negative 14. So if I add that to the second row, 0 and 0 is 0, 7 minus 7 is 0, 0, 1, 1, negative 14 is 7 is 3. Where's that? 0. All right. And then I multiply this by negative 12. 0 and negative 1 is negative 1. Negative 12 and 12 is 0. 0 and 0 is 0. 24 minus 26 is negative 2. And then I multiply this by negative 1. Bam. And it's just out of order there, right? But you can still see it's 2, negative 2, 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you can prove to me that you understand the process, you'll get most of the points. You won't lose many points if you just make a little negative mistake or something, because that's easy to do.
Yeah.
So what if we get the first two, or the bottom two rows, but we're not figuring out the top one, then can we just plug in the bottom two rows into the original equation?
Oh,
That last variable?
yeah, at least that would be something. I really want you to go all the way. But if you can't figure out, then you can change these into equations and plug them in. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, because like I don't want to get the bottom two or whatever and then mess up on the top one when I can just go plug it in instead of the same answer.
All right, at least you'll get the answer. You'll lose very few points, but you'll lose something because they really want you to be able to get there. And don't forget, you can always check your work. As long as I will put this one on the part you can use a calculator, right? Because you're going to have to show me the work here anyway, but you can always plug it in the calculator and check it. Remember that?
Yeah.
That's all you did for number 7.
Huh?
Number 7.
What about?
You just said it.
Yes. Who is back there? And then Jess.
I had a question. On number 11b, would you just multiply this by root 5 minus root 2?
Yep.
Okay, not. Okay.
Did you get an answer?
Yeah, I got it.
You got it. Okay. Yeah.
For all of 8, will those to graph, is it going to be by hand or will we be able to use the computer? Because like, how do you graph log?
Oh, come on now.
I feel like I should know.
You know why I feel that way?
I don't know.
Because you should.
Okay.
So we got what they want here? So I want you to realize, this question actually goes way back. Way back when you first learned lines, and you didn't even know slope yet, and they said, make a table of values. Why would I not choose 1? Really?
Because it would be...
I'd be smart. I'd choose like 0. I'd choose 3. Because it's easy to do. So tell me, what's a number I could put here that would be easy to do? 9. Because that would be a 2, right? So if I'm asked to graph this is number 8a, I think.
X minus 1.
10.
How do you make? Yeah, you put 10. So your table of values would have a 10, because that would make 9, which is a smart number to get. You with me? And then what's another smart number to get? What about 3? How do you get 3?
4.
Make x 4. Yeah. You can definitely do that. Logs are relatively new, but it's still the same idea of what would be a good number to have here, and then what does x have to be to make that happen. Cool. Yes, ma'am.
For that one, could you just rewrite it into the exponential form?
So let's see. You could. So you have this, and then how do you rewrite that?
So you would get 3 and then y, like to the power y equals x minus 1. And then plus the 1. And then you get x equals yeah.
All right. So then, instead of putting a 10 in and getting a 2 out, you would put a 2 in for y. 3 squared is 9 plus 1 is 10. You get a 10 out for it. I love it.
Okay.
I sort of want you to be able to work with it the way it is, but actually your thought process is directly related to that. And just the fact that you would think to even try to do that is awesome. I mean, that's just, you have to be able to try to play with some of this stuff.
You are crying.
Huh?
You're crying inside right now. You're so
Oh, I never stop. It's so sad. I feel like I could open up for you guys.
Just let it out.
It's okay.
All right.
Your right shoulder.
Anything else from? It's almost over, you guys.
Is the final at 9 tomorrow?
Yep, same time.
Do we have more?
I'll give you an hour. No, I'll give you till 12. I'll give you 3 hours for this thing. Which, if that's not enough, that's too bad.
How many questions are on it? Have you decided yet? Have you even?
There'll be
1 question per section.
3 or 4 more than a normal test and average test.
Can we
Just
do
need longer. Huh?
Can we do a group?
What do you think? Sounds good?
Well, the people that are finishing.
Alright, so group work, open book, Wolfram Alpha, those are all not allowed.
You just took away our calculator for part of it.
Yeah.
You should at least let us work in
You
groups.
gotta be having this for part of it.
Oh, for that part.
Yeah, but there's some of it that we can't do without a calculator.
Keep complaining. Let's see what else can happen. You got it. When I was in school, we didn't have TI.
Dude, it's like a pacifier. You gotta have a
Yeah,
pacifier.
TIE. So,
They didn't let us use it. I don't remember when it came out. I don't think the TI-83, I don't think it existed back then.
TI-83 was, but that's his mom's from college.
yeah.
Oh,
Unless
mom.
you're that old.
I don't know how you
Well, TI-83, we just couldn't use it.
In any class?
No, it was probably like super good.
Because I know I had my other math class, I was able to use it after a certain point.
It was like the cell phone. They were expensive when they first came.
Well, cell phones were like,
Yeah.
bring in the airstrike. Military.
That means you had your master's degree in 1988. That's when you started teaching.
We don't have those.
What?
Started teaching.
98.
So when I was
My God, man. Don't make me 10 years older.
So I was a freshman.
Dude,
you're like 40. Yeah, you're like 40 something, right?
Yeah, something.
Let's see. Actually, that's where give us the equation to figure out your age.
Huh? What's up? No, you've already almost got it figured out. You can't make a bonus.
Right, 6 years or so.
I got 2 master's degrees in 5 years.
Really? Yeah, that's fast.
I know. Huh?
And you work 3 jobs. What's your other degree in?
Physics.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So do you teach physics too?
I've taught it a few times. And I asked them, and they keep telling me after I've figured out my math schedule. So I'm like, I have no room to teach physics. And I can't leave room because then I say, oh, we have nothing for you, and then I'm screwed. So I wish they'd asked me earlier. I love physics. You get to play with slinkies and lasers and stuff.
Physics is like, you know, steroids, right?
Physics is math visualized, right? And it's counterintuitive. Yeah.
How is the physics department here? Because I've heard a lot of bad things about it, saying
No,
don't
let's
do
not go there.
physics here.
I've already done that kind of thing yesterday.
Yeah, but now.
You're on video here.
I know. That's another reason why that's good. They're excellent people. Okay. Do you have any more math to talk about? Yeah.
No, but it was about what I emailed you yesterday.
What'd you email me?
I was gonna see if you could write it down.
Oh, they need a note?
Well, they
Well,
would
no, but it'll help out my case.
And was your case related to geometry or not?
Yes.
Yeah.
And they want me to write what?
Well, no, like
if I can get permission from you.
Oh, I see. All
Like
right.
to sit, like if I pass this class for this year, better if I can get your okay to go into your pre-calc class. I mean, it'll make it easier.
Oh, I see. I see. Okay. So remind me in a bit. I'll put it on official letterhead and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Real quick, if you're going to go into 176, there's some people that have already had their registration day come and they're being blocked because there needs to be something on record about your geometry. And normally you just tell them, yeah, I took geometry. And then they have to go with it, right? If you tell them, no, you haven't taken geometry, then you must take geometry math 97 first before you can take math 176 with me. Most of you guys should have taken geometry in high school. It's just kind of weird to me to think that somebody might have missed it, which could happen, I guess. Yeah. You're about to.
Exactly that, but I haven't been told that it's saying that because I didn't meet the prerequisite for 176.
That's what it is. Because it won't be this class. They have to let you register for the next one because that would be evil not to. But it's happening because of geometry. There's nothing on record about geometry for you. So you have to go to admissions and tell them I've taken geometry and you've taken geometry. Right?
I couldn't find my original quiz too, so I just made. I should read this one.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah. You just go to admissions and
I just went over to the assessment department and I asked her if you read it.
oh, cool.
Click a bunch of buttons and then I read it.
Assessments, better way. I knew admissions would at least send you, I don't know, so assessments where you go directly.
They told me that I would have to take it and I was like,
Had you never had geometry?
I think
That's all you got to tell them is I've taken it in high school.
My study guide is in my car. Do you have an extra?
What do you mean? Oh, an extra blank? Yes. Yay.
I never got an answer.
Yes.
And then I'm gonna have to get
All right, guys. Any other questions? What?
There's a class I'm trying to, if I do get hooked up to it, it's, your times are very different. I had to pick another time frame because I only have a certain window.
Okay, okay. Can you ask me about a...
It's J.